By golly, it's amazing. It sounds like something you'd hear on the radio.
Presenting the transcription feature.
The Lucky Strike program starring Jack Benny with Mary Livingston, Phil Harris, Rochester Dennis Day, and yours truly, Don Wilson.
It's 8:30 New York time. Time to wake up America and stump the expert.
From Hollywood, it's time now for Johnny Dollar.
Kraft presents The Great Gildersleeve.
And now meet Dick Calmer as Boston Blackie.
It's the Phil Harris Alice Faye Show, presented transcribed by the makers of Rexall drug products.
And now it's time to meet the men from the ministry.
The Armed Forces Radio and Television Service presents the Bob Hope Show with Les Brown and his band of renown. And yours truly, Bill Goodwin. And now here he is, Bob Hope.
Greetings, I'm Kevin Lauderdale. We're going to start off with some comedy and music. Technically, this is the Kraft Music Hall, but everybody calls it the Bing Crosby Show. His special guest is Lucille Ball. This is from 1944, and you have to remember that Lucy was still Lucille back then. Lucille Ball was a would-be Hollywood glamour girl, appearing in lots of B-movies as a love interest, in movies and Broadway plays a lot during the 1930s and 40s. It wasn't until the radio show My Favorite Husband, which ran from 1948 to 1951, that she became a comedian. And then, of course, with I Love Lucy starting in 1951, that she became Lucy, the icon that would last forever. But back in 1944, she's still a struggling would-be. There's cracks about the number of Bing Crosby's kids. He had 4 boys at the time of this recording. He'd go on to have 2 more boys and a daughter, as well as his perennially losing racehorses. Don't feel bad for him, though. He owned a big stake in the Del Mar racetrack. He did quite all right. As well as several horses, some of which won, some of which lost. That's just the way it goes. But everybody liked to make fun of his horses. From March 2nd, 1944, the Kraft Music Hall. Guest, Lucille Ball.
The Kraft Music Hall with Bing Crosby, John Scott Trotter and his orchestra, the Music Maids and Lee, Yuki, the Charioteers, and our 2 glamorous gals from the cinema, Lucille Ball and Marilyn Maxwell. And here's Bing Crosby.
There'll be a hot time in the town of Berlin when the Yanks go marching in. I'd like to be their boy, spreading some joy when they take old Berlin. There'll be a hot time in the town of Berlin when those Brooklyn boys begin to take the joint apart and tear it down when they take old Berlin. They're gonna start a row and show them how we paint the town back in Kokomo. They're gonna take a hike through Hitler's Reich and change the high to what you know, Joe. There'll be a hot time in the town of Berlin when the Yanks go marching in. You could never keep them happy down on the farm after they've taken Berlin.
There'll be a hot time in the town of Berlin when the Yanks go marching in. Oh, what a jubilee there's gonna be when they take old Berlin. There'll be a hot time in the town of Berlin when the Brooklyn boys begin to take the joint apart and tear it down when they take old Berlin.
They're gonna start a row, show them how we paint the town back in Michigan. They're gonna take a hike through Hitler's Reich and change that high to give me some skin. There'll be a hot time in the town of Berlin when the Yanks go marching in. You could never keep them happy down on the farm after they move in. Get in the groove in. Oh, after they've taken Berlin. This is the old Kraft Music Hall, friends, slated for our fighting men, wherever they are. And wherever they are, you may be sure they're fighting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. All they want from us here at home is to know how things are going. So get on that V-mail job and get out at least one V-mail letter a night to those men who really know how welcome a letter from home can be. But getting back to the old Kraft Music Hall, we're really chock full of charm this fine March evening, featuring not only the glamorous Lucille Ball of the cinema, but also the lovely Marilyn Maxwell. Entered in the KMH Stakes for the 5th consecutive week, Marilyn is practically one of the family, our youngest.
Bing, do you think everyone around here really thinks of me as the youngest member of the family?
Practically.
Well, then that must be the reason everyone wants me to sit on his lap.
Practically.
Does everybody around the Kraft Music Hall think of everyone else as a member of the same family?
Absolutely.
Hey, I'm back.
Practically. Practically.
Well, that's what I came to speak about.
Yeah?
I'd like to move into your house.
The one that burned down? Nice sweet there.
No, the new trap. I'd like to move in.
Move in?
Yeah, I'd like to live there. I'll help around, of course.
Well, fortunately, Yuki, I don't need help.
You're bragging.
Oh, no. Furniture gets dusted once a week. We have a part-time cook.
Now I know you're bragging.
The kids mow the lawn. Everett washes the car. What could you do?
Move in.
Well, as Fibber McGee said when he snapped the picture, don't move.
Look, Bing, do you think I want to leave my cozy little place to come into that great big house that you have?
You don't?
I know every little corner of my little place, and I'm used to it. You know, it takes a heap of living to make a house a home.
And yours is a home?
A heap.
But you're willing to give it up, huh?
Just for you. You should have somebody at your house all the time. Suppose a friend knocks at the door and there's no answer.
Well, he'll think nobody's home, naturally.
Naturally. But supposing I'm there.
That confirms it.
Don't be too hasty, Bing. Yuki might be very handy to have around your house.
Sure, I could take your boys to school.
Oh, I have a truant officer under private contract. Does all my work.
Well, I'd even consider working in your stables. You know, taking care of your horses.
You're really willing to curry and clip my horses?
Well, why not? Your horses clip me.
Oh,
no, it'd be a tough grind, Yuki, taking care of Bing's horses. You'd have to be on the job at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Is that when they get up?
That's when they get in.
Listen to those losers out there.
Listen, Bing, if you let me move in with you, it'll keep a lot of people from dropping in and bothering you.
How does that figure?
Well, how could they get in when it's full of my relatives?
Frankly, Yuki, if I were after house guests, I'd rather have John Scott Trotter around the house.
Yeah, but could you get the house around Mr. Trotter?
Well, that's none of my business, Yuke, but personally, I don't think you could be any help to Bing.
I can, huh?
No.
Well, listen, I wasn't going to mention this, but I was the guy that built Sinatra.
Oh, you built Sinatra, huh?
Yeah.
Sort of ran out of material, didn't you?
Now, look, Yuke. Huh? Really, some deep, abiding impulse moves me, and, well, I think I can use you around the house.
You can?
Yeah.
Gee, that's swell, Bing.
Of course, you'll have to live in the attic.
Well, I don't mind at all. What'll you have me doing?
Well, your main job will be just to sit at the window and keep a vigilant lookout.
For a burglar?
For the stork.
Leaving now to buy a pair of field glasses.
Get some Zeiss 7x50s and get powerful ones and beam them this way to catch Marilyn Maxwell and friend on a short Surrey ride. Chicks and ducks and geese better scurry when I take you out in the Surrey. When I take you out in the Surrey with the fringe on top.
Watch that fringe and see how it flutters when you drive them high-stepping strutters. Nosy pokes will peep through their shutters and their eyes will pop. The wheels are yellow, the upholstery's brown, the dashboard's genuine leather.
With isinglass curtains you can roll right down in case there's a change in the weather. Too bright bright sidelights a winking and a blinking. Ain't no finer rig eyes a thinking. You can keep your rig if you're thinking that I'd care to swap for that shiny little Surrey with the fringe on the top. Did you know the fringe was made of silk?
Wouldn't have no other kind but silk. Has it really got a team of snow white horses?
One's like snow, the other's more like milk.
I can see the stars getting blurry when we drive back home in the Surrey, driving slowly home in the Surrey with a fringe on top.
I can feel the day getting older, feel a sleepy head on my shoulder, nodding, drooping close to my shoulder till it falls kerplop.
The wind will whistle as we rattle along, the cows will moo in the clover.
The river will ripple a whispered song and whisper it over and over. Don't you wish you'd go on forever? Don't you wish you'd go on forever? Don't you wish you'd go on forever and you'd never stop in that shiny little Surrey with the fringe on the top?
Very nice, Marilyn, and thank you. I guess that's the first time a guy ever chose a Surrey when he had a Maxwell. But with which confusing thought we turn to more practical matters.
Ladies, I give you 2 words that can solve a number of wartime meal problems. Those 2 words are Kraft Dinner, the delicious time-saving macaroni and cheese main dish. It saves you shopping time because right in one box, Kraft Dinner gives you both ingredients for swell macaroni and cheese. It saves you cooking time, for Kraft Dinner macaroni and cheese cooks in just 7 minutes. It saves you ration points, and Kraft Dinner helps you stretch high-point foods. For although Kraft Dinner macaroni and cheese is a fine main dish all by itself, you can add a little meat, for instance, and have an extra hearty dish. So let Kraft Dinner help you. Get the box with both ingredients for quick macaroni and cheese soon. Get Kraft Dinner.
Oh, sing a song of 6pence, pocket full of rye, 4 and 20 blackbirds baked in a pie. When the pie was opened, birds began to sing. Wasn't that a dainty dish to set before a king? Now the king was in the counting house, counting out his money, and the queen was in the parlor, eating bread and honey. Oh, the maid was in the garden, hanging up the clothes. Along comes a dicky bird and pops her on her nose. But I wanna swing, sing it with a swing. Oh, swing, sing it with a swing. Well, swinging rhythm, swinging rhythm, swinging rhythm, swinging rhythm, swinging rhythm, I got swing. Oh, sing a song of 6pence, a pocket full of rye. Oh, 4 and 20 blackbirds baked in a pie. Oh, when the pie was open, the birds began to sing. Wasn't that a dainty dish to set before a king? Oh, the king was in the counting room, counting out his money. The queen was in the parlor, eating bread and honey. The maid was in the garden, hanging out the clothes. Along came a dicky bird and popped up on her nose. Sing a song of 6pence, just a pocket full of rye. Just a pocket full of rye.
Thanks, charioteers. Soon to be seen in the Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer picture, Meet the People, our lovely and charming friend Lucille Ball has paid us many a visit to the old Kraft Music Hall. Lately, however, the demands of war work have been cutting down her calls, and what with gas shortages and one thing and another, her social scope has become somewhat limited. Tell me, Lucille, just how are you finagling a little fun and frivolity these days,
Well, being there's not much fun, I guess I'm no different from any other woman who sees what has to be done and goes ahead and does it.
Meaning you're busy filling in for a man.
No, hunting for one.
Is the hunting good? How are we doing?
No kidding, Bing. I don't think this idea of replacing men will ever go over very big with women.
Why not?
Well, what woman thinks anything will ever take the place of a man?
Ah, yes. And vice versa, may I say. But there's plenty of work to be done. Where are the men coming from?
Well, you're doing your share, raising those 4 boys.
Just what exactly are you doing?
Different things. Different things, Bing. I'm even toying with the idea of driving a cab.
Me too. Lots of women are driving cabs because of the shortage of men.
Yeah, that could lead to a shortage of cabs, too.
I don't think that cab driving's for either of you two gals. You're particularly not the type, Marilyn. You definitely don't belong in the front seat of a taxi.
What about me?
You? Can you handle a tire iron?
If I had one, I'd show you.
No kidding, Lucille. There's a very definite niche in the war economy for a girl like you. It's a job that demands loads of intelligence, courage, and initiative. A job that you can hold even after the war has ended because you'll be the first woman with your foot in the door. And you'll be definitely releasing a man for active duty.
Soldier, sailor, Marine.
Brush salesman.
That you should do, Lucille. Why, I can see you now on your first training trip with your instructor, the very salesman you're going to release for active duty, as you walk from house to house singing your outfit's fight song.
Oh, what do we do when we sell the brush?
We march, we march, we march.
Oh, what do we do when we get the brush?
We march, we march, we march.
The fellow who's peddling magazines is pedaling on a bike. But what do we do when we sell the brush?
We hike, we hike, we hike. Yeah.
Nice key. Come now, we shall approach this first door together. And remember, never take no for an answer. That's the rule.
Okay, shall I ring the bell?
That's combat tactics. You ring. Oh, you have a fine ring.
Thank you.
Now I make the approach, and while I'm talking, you get out the samples, because we never take no for an answer. That's the rule.
Yeah.
Howdy, friend. We have here...
No.
Well?
That's the exception that proves the rule.
Oh. Listen, I'm tired of doing all this teamwork. I want a solo.
Very well, I'll let you try a sail. Solo.
Solo? Now?
Yes. There's the house. I'll wait here observing and sweating you in through your first solo sail. Go ahead, run.
Okay. Now, if I only have the push to put the sail over, if I only have the push to ring the bell. There.
I have here the finest assortment of brushes in the whole world. Nowhere are there any better brushes. Want to buy one, huh?
Back so soon? Did they buy or didn't they?
Undecided.
Oh, you should have stayed to clinch the sale. Yesterday, I made a call at the home of that radio comedian.
You did?
Bob Hope, yes. I got to Mr. Hope personally.
Oh.
And I stood on his porch talking to him for over 40 minutes.
What happened?
Oh, he told me a lot of horse jokes.
Bing, let's try this place. Now, don't tell me what to do. Let's see. Now, ring the bell.
You don't like bells, huh?
No.
Oh, the brush people. Good. I do need a good hairbrush because when I go to bed at night, I really take a lot of time and trouble with my hair. And sometimes I give it 70 or 80 strokes. Sometimes even 90 strokes or 100 strokes.
What's par for your scalp?
Won't you come in?
Gladly.
Not you.
Oh. How would you like to buy a nice broom to keep this dirty house of yours clean?
Steady, Miss Ball.
I happen to have a vacuum cleaner, and it can do anything a broom can do.
Yeah, ever try sticking a vacuum cleaner into a cake to see if it's done?
Fresh.
Wrong approach, Miss Ball. Flattery, that's what wins.
Oh.
Try to show a person how he can improve himself. Now, ring this bell.
All right.
I'm going to leave you on your own, but remember, show this person how to improve himself.
Yes.
Did you want me?
What a feel for improvement here.
Would you like to buy a fine clothes brush to improve the appearance of your fine clothes?
My clothes don't need any improving.
Oh.
Would you like to buy a fine shoe brush to improve the appearance of your fine shoes?
My shoes don't need any improving.
Would you like to buy a fine shaving brush? Fool around with that.
Why don't you show him the special for this week only, Miss Ball?
Well, it's a combination toothbrush and eye cup.
What's that for?
Eye teeth.
Wise guys, eh?
Maybe that little man's neighbor would like some brushes. I like these two-family houses. Saves a lot of walking. Only one stoop.
Well, wait till you see who answers the bell.
Well, howdy!
See what I
I saw you coming. What you want?
Can we interest you in some brushes?
What say?
mean? Would you like to buy some brushes?
Oh, you're buying brushes. Well, that's fine. Hey, Mirandy, bring out the old brushes. There's people here wants to buy them.
Oh, easy. Wait a minute, mister. We're not buying them. We're selling them.
Well, of course I'll sell them. How much you paying?
Hey, let's get away from here. This is getting tough.
Yes, it's sometimes difficult when a person's hard of hearing. I don't suppose he even realizes his handicap.
No.
No, but it sure comes in mighty handy when there's a salesman around.
Well, come on, let's keep moving. What do we do when we get the brush?
We march, we march, we march.
The brushes we sell pay our income tax, a tax that's as stiff as starch. And when are we paying this income tax?
In March.
Ouch!
March!
Ow!
March!
We're cooked.
Time marches back. 1933. The United States renews diplomatic relations with Soviet Russia, and the big song hit is Who's Afraid of the Big Bad Wolf? 1933. Money is scarce, and many a young man strolling home from a movie with his girl can be heard to say,
You don't mind walking, do you, honey?
Shame on you, Harry. Of course not. You know I don't.
It's kind of fun, isn't it?
Uh-huh.
Some girls might not like walking in the rain.
Well, Greta Garbo likes it.
Well, she likes to be alone.
I'd rather be with you.
Sure, you don't even know Garbo. Are you getting wet?
A little. It was awfully smart of you, Harry, to bring your umbrella.
Yeah, it's too bad you haven't got one.
Well, couldn't we both get under yours?
Yes, let's close in here.
Now, isn't this more cozy?
Yeah, it's just like your sofa the night the roof leaked.
Coming over tomorrow afternoon? If it rains?
Oh, sure, if it rains. I can't pick 'em in the mud.
Why do you like horse racing so?
You know, sometimes I wonder. Then I get to thinking, now you take a horse like this Equipoise, makes himself $300,000.
You like to play the horses, don't you, Harry?
Sometimes for laughs.
Ever get anything?
Laugh.
Gee, doesn't the rain feel nice and cool on your face?
Yeah. You know, walking along like this with you next to me, it's like walking on a dewy cloud.
Why, Harry?
My feet get wet.
Don't know why there's no moon up in the sky.
Stormy weather.
Oh, say, Harry, have you heard that new tune?
Which one?
Learn to croon if you want to win your heart's desire. Sweet melodies of love inspire romance. You sound just like him.
Oh, that guy's easy to imitate.
Thanks for all the lovely delight I found in your embrace. I'm thankful, though I know it's ending all too soon. And thanks for unforgettable nights I never can replace, and memories that linger like a haunting tune. It is better to have loved you, dear, and lost than never to have loved at all. Yes, it's better, for no matter what the cost, I held the world in sway, emperor for a day. And thanks again for taking me on the road to paradise. We lost our way, but still I must convey my thanks. Thanks again for taking me on the road to paradise. We lost our way, but still I must convey my thanks.
For our notes on 1933. We turn now to some notes for 1944.
By my watch, I see that it's been just about 7 minutes since Bing and Lucille were ringing their last doorbell. And those 7 minutes have rushed by. But do you ladies know what you could have accomplished in those brief minutes if you'd had a package of Kraft dinner in your hand? By now, you'd be ready to dish up some swell macaroni and cheese for the folks. Yes, ma'am, Kraft Dinner gives you both ingredients for a delicious macaroni and cheese main dish that you cook in 7 minutes by the clock. There's a special macaroni, and there's plenty of Kraft grated to sprinkle cheese flavor through and through. In a hurry, Kraft Dinner gives you fluffy, tender macaroni with lots of good cheese flavor. Think what that can mean to you when you get home late. And besides all this, Kraft Dinner is a real help with the point budget, so you can see why this Kraft product is so especially popular these days. Let it solve some of your wartime meal problems. Just be sure to buy the box with both ingredients for speedy macaroni and cheese. That's Kraft Dinner.
Amor, amor, amor. This word so sweet that I repeat means I adore you. Amor, amor, my love. Would you deny this heart that I have placed before you? Can't find another word with meaning so clear. Lips try to whisper sweeter things in your ear. Somehow or other, nothing sounds quite so dear as this soft caressing word I know. Amor, amor, my love. When you're away, there is no day, and nights are lonely. Amor, amor, my love. Make life divine, say you'll be mine, and love me only. Make life divine, say you'll be mine, and love me only.
That's the entire Kraft Music Hall for this Thursday evening, friends, but we're all going to be back next Thursday, same time, when we're inviting our friend George Murphy to join up with us. Between now and then, make a list of all the guys you know who are offshore fighting a war. Write a letter to every one of them and shoot it out V-mail. That's the quickest way to get it to him, and those men need and they want letters, the quickest way. It's sort of a stale deal for a fella hanging tough in a jungle if he keeps answering mail call and he keeps coming up empty. You can't be too busy to get a lot of V-mail on its way, and if you want to know what to say, just say what you'd say if you met the guy on the street. You don't have to write like Shakespeare or Soroyan, just write like you, but write often. Get on it, huh, friends? It's important. Good night.
Marilyn Maxwell appeared through the courtesy of Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, producers of Madame Curie. The Kraft Music Hall comes to you from Hollywood's Radio City.
Now that Lent is here, plan exciting new ways to serve eggs, fish, and cheese. Listen. For a surprise touch of flavor in your Lenten foods, add the taste-tingling tang of Kraft salad mustard. We suggest for tomorrow's menu hard-cooked eggs crowned with an appetizing golden sauce, zestfully flavored with Kraft salad mustard. They're delicious. For an even zippier touch of flavor, buy that other Kraft mustard with horseradish added. Put Kraft mustards on your shopping list tomorrow. The Seal Test Village store will follow immediately over most of these same stations from Hollywood.
This is the National Broadcasting Company.
I think I've said before that the beauty of things like Information Please or the College Quiz Bowl is that I don't have to really provide much information. Here's another episode of the College Quiz Bowl, Syracuse versus Barnard, from October 30th, 1954.
Time magazine featured it. Life magazine photographed it. People everywhere stayed home to hear it. And here is your chance if you missed it. Presenting the College Quiz Bowl with Alan Ludden as master of the quiz. Because of unprecedented interest in these exciting contests between college teams of four from coast to coast, the National Broadcasting Company will rebroadcast the best games of this unusual series. And so tonight, by transcription, you will hear Barnard College fight it out with Syracuse University from their respective campuses in New York City and Syracuse, New York. And now, let's meet the teams. First, from Barnard College,
Annette Wilbois, Des Moines, Iowa. Toby Brown, Brooklyn, New York. Donna Click, Cincinnati, Ohio. Judy Lewittis, Bronx, New York.
Fred Collins of station WRCA will be Barnard's referee. And here's the quartet from Syracuse University.
Sally Kotorsky, Buffalo, New York.
Charles Samuels, Brooklyn, New York.
Arlene Yard, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Bob Cheeseman, Syracuse, New York.
The Syracuse referee is Bob Whitney of station WSYR.
Okay, how about those rules, Roger?
Right, Alan, and here they are. Alan Ludden asks a toss-up question worth 10 points. And the first team to signal it knows the answer gets a chance to answer it. When Barnard College signals, you'll hear. And when Syracuse University signals, you'll hear. By means of a special electronic selector, the team which signals first, even by a split second, activates its light here in New York City and makes it impossible for the other team's light to flash. If a team gives a wrong answer to the toss-up question, the other team is given a chance to answer it. And whichever team gives the right answer gets a bonus question worth a stated number of points. The team with the most points at the end of the game is the winner and returns next week to defend its title in the College Quiz Bowl.
Thank you, Roger. Now remember, teams, you may interrupt the toss-up question before I've finished asking it, but if you do, and if your answer is wrong, your team will be penalized 5 points, and I will repeat the question, giving the other team a free crack at it. You got it clear? Okay, those are the rules. That's the opening whistle, so let's go. Here's your first toss-up. Everybody remembers that Alden was the last name of the young gentleman to whom Priscilla said, "Speak for yourself, John." But for 10 points, what was Priscilla's last name? Syracuse. Sally Kotarski.
Mullins.
Right, for 10 points, Syracuse. Priscilla Mullins. Well, Sally, you came right in at the opening here. All right, you got a 30-point bonus question for the Syracuse team. And here you are, you may work as a team. It's a question on names in the news. I'm going to give you the names, and for 10 points apiece, I want you to tell us why these names are now newsworthy. First of all, anybody on the Syracuse team, why is Chris Chataway newsworthy? Arlene Yard.
Long distance racing, I believe it's at 5,000 meters.
That's right, for 10 points. He set the new world record in the 5,000-meter race at the London-Moscow track meet this month. Okay. Now, here you go. You can make 10 more points, Syracuse, if you'll tell me why Johannes Hoffman is in the news. Is newsworthy.
Oh, we've got that one coming, Alan.
All right, where? From whom? How near is it? I think it's out. Johannes Hoffman is the premier of the Tsar. He figured importantly in the recent Franco-German Accord on the Tsar reached in the London talks. Okay? You can still make 10 more points, Syracuse, if you'll tell me why Louis B. Wolfson is newsworthy. Bob Cheeseman.
Louis B. Wolfson is also giving Sewell Avery of Montgomery Ward a fight for control of the Montgomery Ward stock.
Right, for 10 points, Syracuse. What's the score in time, Roger?
Right now, with 22 and a half minutes to go, Alan. Barnard College, nothing. Syracuse, 30.
Okay, back to a toss-up question. Here we go with 30. 25-point bonuses coming up. On the night of February 15th, 1898, 266 men were killed and a war was touched off. For 10 points, what happened? Barnard.
Was that the sinking of the Maine?
Yes, I'll accept it, but don't answer with a question. All right. You got a 25-point bonus, Barnard, by that one, and that was a near one. Here we go. Anybody on the Barnard team? This is a very famous American who started his career as a portrait painter and became proficient in the techniques of daguerreotype photography, though he is best remembered for neither of these occupations. Now, his middle names are Finley and Breeze. For 25 points, can you give us his first and last name?
Is it Brady? Samuel F. B. Morse.
That's right, Samuel F. B. Morse. That's right, for 25 points, Barnard. Who was that?
That was Judy Lewis.
Okay, Judy, you got it now. We got 35 to 30. Here we go now. Before we get along to another toss-up question, though, let's find out from Roger Tuttle what the stakes are in this quiz game.
Each week, Good Housekeeping magazine will award to the school of the winning team a $500 gift to be administered by the college. Now, it may go to a scholarship fund or to a campus activity. And each member of the losing team will receive an attractive, dependable Wittnauer wristwatch, a distinguished member of the Longines Wittnauer family of fine watches. Since 1866, maker of watches of the highest character. Well, those are the stakes, Alan. Now, with 21 minutes to go, and the score, Barnard 35, Syracuse 30, back to another toss-up question.
All right, for 10 points. Coming up is a 40-point bonus, incidentally. A 40-point bonus coming up. For 10 points, tell us, what might Escoffier do with an escargot? Syracuse.
Charles Samuel.
He might cook it. That's right. Why? Why? Who is Escoffier?
Escoffier is a chef, and escargot a snail.
That's right, boy. You got 10 points for Syracuse, and you got a 40-point bonus here. All right. Now, if I said a handsome boy and his reflection, and you had to make a flash association, you'd undoubtedly say Narcissus, because you're so smart. Thus, you would be identifying properly the fictional source of a famous scene. Now, for 10 points apiece, I want you to give me the name of the story or verse in which each of the following appears. But here's the catch. You have only 4 seconds in which to make the association. So, Syracuse, work fast. The time will start as I finish the situation. First of all, for 10 points, what story or verse is reminded to you by this? A house on fire and the children gone. Sally.
The ladybug beetle, you know, ladybird, fly away home.
That's right, for 10 points, Syracuse. Now, a cracked up sled and a crooked L.
Bob Cheeseman. That would be Ethan Frome.
That would be 10 more. That's right, for 10 more points, Syracuse. All right. A house that whispered and a horse that rocked.
Charles, that would be The Rocking Horse Winner by D.H. Lawrence.
That would be 10 more points for Syracuse. All right, you're going to get all of these this 40-point question if you'll tell me what is reminded now here by this. An orphan asylum and a long-legged shadow. Of what are you reminded?
Oh, Bob Cheeseman, try it.
Time is gone. Oliver Twist. No, Daddy Longlegs. The children's classic by Gene Webster. All right. What's the score in time, Rod?
Well, score right now, Barnard 35, Syracuse 70, and we have 18 and a half minutes to go, Alan.
Coming up is a 30-point musical bonus. Here's your toss-up. At the birth of one of his daughters, Zeus, chief of the Olympian gods, probably had a splitting headache. Now, for 10 points, can you tell us why? Syracuse.
Sally Kotorsky.
His daughter Athena came full grown from his forest.
That's right. It very well might have given him a headache. Right. Here we go. That's 10 more points for Syracuse, and you've got now a 34 bonus. Using the bonus. Okay, you can use the jukebox as your textbook for this one. If you know your popular music, you'll have no trouble, I'm sure, giving us 10 points apiece. The meaningless words that form the title of the following currently popular pieces. I looked at you, something is on my mind. Okay, Alan. What is it? Sally.
I think it's Shaboom.
You think right for 10 points. Shaboom. All right, what's the meaningless word that's the title of this one? Oh, that's nice. Arlene Yard. Arlene.
Oop shoot.
That's right. Oop shoot. That's right. Okay, you'll get the whole thing here if you'll tell me the meaningless word or the word that is the title of this one. Got it, Alan. Okay,
That's Skokian.
That's Skokian for 10 points more. All right, here we go with the toss-up question coming up to the 30-point bonus. For 10 points, tell us. On what muscles are you sitting while waiting to answer this toss-up question? No takers? No zoology students? Roger, you're not eligible.
I know what it is.
All right, gluteus maximus muscle. Gluteus maximus muscle. All right, 30-point bonus stands. Here's another toss-up. Humphrey had her riding down a river in a beat-up boat. More recently, she took a backflip into Venice's Grand Canal. For 10 points, what's her name? Barnard.
Judy Lewis.
And the African Queen, Katharine Hepburn?
Right, Katharine Hepburn for 10 points. There's a 30-point bonus, Barnard. You know, sometimes colors and shades have names that also mean other things. Now, you're going to get 5 points for each color that you can name from the following description. There are 6 of them. First of all, a primary color that denotes a lack of moral fortitude. Anybody in the
Yellow. Yellow.
That's right. All right, a shade of blue that borrows its name from a short-necked wild duck. Teal? That's right, teal for 5 more points. A shade that has the same name as a liquor made by the Carthusian monks.
Chartreuse.
Right for 5 more points. A mixed color that is also a hydrous basic phosphide of aluminum containing a little copper. Turquoise. You said it at the same time. 5 points for you there. All right, a tint that also describes a sewing operation.
Pink.
Right, 5 points. The color that choleric people often see.
Red.
Red, that's right. Okay, what's the score, Roger Tuttle?
Score right now, Barnard 75, Syracuse 110. We have 15 minutes to go, Al.
All right, I got a 30-point bonus coming up here, and here's your toss-up. Here's your toss-up. Von Schleicher succeeded von Papen. For 10 points, tell us, who succeeded von Schleicher? It's Barnard.
Toby Brown.
Was it Hitler?
It was Hitler, that's right. You corrected yourself. Your answer was an answer. All right, you got a 30-point bonus here, Barnard. Now, in the senatorial and gubernatorial elections to be held next week, several of the candidates have last names which suggest other things. For 10 points apiece, can you identify the senatorial candidate whose last name suggests a humble spirit?
Meek?
Uh-huh.
Meek?
That's right, Joseph Meek. All right, the gubernatorial candidate who, from the sound and spelling of his name, might be a character in the Arthurian legends. Gubernatorial candidate.
Lancelot?
No. Goodwin Knight. Knight, K-N-I-G-H-T, who's running for governor of California. You'll have 10 more points, Barnard, if you'll tell me the gubernatorial candidate whose last name also means a social or fraternal organization.
Mason? Elk?
John Lodge, who's running for re-election in Connecticut. Okay, the score is...
Barnard 95, Syracuse 110, getting closer, and we have 13 and a half minutes to go.
All right, coming up is a 20-point bonus. Here's your toss-up. If you traveled from the river associated with the works of the composer Handel to the river associated with the works of Johann Strauss, in what direction would you be going? Barnard.
Annette, the Will boys.
You'd be traveling east.
East generally, southeast specifically, but I'll accept it. Where would you be going from? So, Annette, where would you be going from? From where to where?
From England
Yes.
to Germany.
All right, from the Thames to the Blue Danube, specifically. All right, here we go now to 20 points. 20-point bonus for Barnard. You were to imagine now that you were a casting director and had 3 masculine roles to assign. You cast the angel Gabriel as a hot trumpeter. You cast Figaro as a valet. And you cast Loyola as a Franciscan monk. Now, for 20 points, Barnard, what grave casting error would you have made? Think on this.
Can we get a repeat on that?
Yeah, could you repeat it?
Gabriel is a hot trumpeter, Figaro is a valet, Loyola as a Franciscan monk.
Loyola,
what did I hear?
Loyola is wrong because Loyola was a Spanish Jesuit, wasn't he?
That's right for 20 points, Barnard. Figaro was once a valet in addition to being a barber.
That was Judy Lewis again, Alan.
Good.
That's the whistle for a halftime break, Alan. And before we continue with tonight's game, I'd like to remind you and our audience that the contest you are hearing actually took place some time ago. And so certain questions and allusions to current events will not be so current now as they were then. But they are included to make this rebroadcast game complete. And now with the score, Syracuse 110, Barnard 125. Back to the game and our master of the quiz, Alan Ludden.
There's a musical bonus worth 30 points coming up now. Here's your toss-up. Jesus' crown was made of thorns. Medusa's was made of wriggling serpents. You with me? Now, for 10 points, of what was Charlemagne's made? Barnard.
Oak.
Can you take it, Syracuse?
Bob Cheeseman. Of iron, I believe.
Right, for 10 points, Syracuse. Iron. Charlemagne's crown was made of iron, and you have a 31 musical bonus, Syracuse. We're going to play excerpts from 3 orchestral compositions. Judging from the titles for 10 points apiece, I want you to tell us for what occasion or activity might they have been composed. First.
Charles Samuels on this, Alan.
Okay, Charles.
That's Aaron Copland's Rodeo.
That's right, for 10 points. Rodeo. Or rodeo, depending on where you're from. All right. What is the occasion or activity for which this composition might have been composed? What is it?
Go ahead, Charles. I'll take a guess. I think that's a serenade.
No. No, the occasion or activity should have been a party. You see, it was a masquerade suite, Cacciatorian's masquerade suite. It's the opening movement. All right, here we go. For what occasion or activity, perhaps, for this?
All right, Alan.
All right, what?
Charlie Sam. I think that's the coronation.
No, that's the War March of the Priest. For me, the war was the answer we were looking for. Mendelssohn. All right, here we go with a 25-point bonus coming up and a 10-point toss-up right here. 10 points. If you can name the only American who was, during his career, both President of the United States and Chief Justice of the Supreme Court.
Judy Lewis.
Taft.
Right, for 10 points. William Howard Taft, President 1909, Chief Justice 1921 to 1930. All right, you've got a 25-point bonus, Barnard. If you were asked, or we asked you to identify the German philosopher whose last name rhymes with a hard roll with a hole in the middle, you'd surely say Hegel, whose name rhymes with bagel. Now, for 25 points, I want you to identify the late contemporary American economist whose name rhymes with Louis Armstrong's occupation. Late contemporary American economist whose name rhymes with Louis Armstrong's occupation. All right, Mr. McGregor has called Joseph Schumpeter, whose name rhymes with trumpeter. Schumpeter is a famous author of Capitalism, Socialism, Democracy, standard text for most economic students. Score in time, Roger.
Score right now, Barnard 135, Syracuse 130, and 6 minutes to go.
Wow, we're getting close, and here we go. Coming up is a 20-point bonus. Here's your toss-up. On your toes, Barnard, Syracuse. If you heard somebody using the terms flats, gelatins, and scholastic, what would his occupation probably be? Syracuse, Sally Kotorski.
He'd probably be in the theater.
That's right, he'd probably be in the theater. Why, Sally?
I know the gelatins, the covering they put over the light to give it color, and the rest I don't know.
All right, but you guessed very well and got a 20-point bonus for Syracuse. For 20 points, I want you to complete this following relationship question. Xanthippe was to Socrates as Clara Week was to whom?
Conference, Alan.
Is that Schumann?
That's right, for 20 points. Robert Schumann. Xanthippe, of course, was Socrates' wife. Clara Week was Schumann's wife. All right, we have now a 20-point bonus coming up. Here is a 10-point toss-up. The symbol of the pawnbroker was adapted from the sign of what famous family? Syracuse. Sally Kotorski.
The Medici.
De Medici, right, for 10 points. Syracuse gets a 20-point bonus. All right, for 20 points, tell us, what do Grassmere and Abbotsford have in common? Abbotsford. What do they have in common? We're all talking here, Alan. Bob? Syracuse? No, I'll tell you. They counts in England. What? Counts in England. No, they are both homes of famous poets. Sir Walter Scott's home was Abbotsford, and of course Wordsworth's home was Grassmere. All right, coming up now is a 25-point bonus. Score in time, Roger.
Score right now, Barnard 135, Syracuse 170, 3.5 minutes to go.
All right, here we go. So 25-point bonus coming up for 10 points. Tell us, what did Androcles do to get in good with the lion? Syracuse. Sally.
He took a thorn out of his foot.
Right, for 10 points, Syracuse. Here's your 25-point bonus, Syracuse. This one is, if you looked at a score of music, how could you tell at a glance whether the scoring was made in medieval days or modern days?
Is that because the notes in medieval days were square? Was that?
Yes, I would take that. The number of lines in a staff. Either one would have told you which day it was made in. All right, here we go with a toss-up question. 30-point bonus is coming up. A 3-part 30-point bonus is coming up, so on your toes. If you were asked to take a stroll around the edge of the forest with Rue and Eeyore, with what two animals would you be walking?
Annette, Will Boys.
Eeyore's a donkey and Rue is a kangaroo.
Right. I didn't call you, Barnard, but that's right, you like it. For 10 points apiece, you are to identify the following famous sisters of fact and fiction. First of all, the mythological three sisters. The Three Fates. The Three Fates? All right, Alex.
Clotho, Lachesis, and Atropos.
All right, for 10 points, Barnard. All right, the contemporary Seven Little Sisters.
The Pleiades?
The contemporary Seven Little Sisters.
Oh, these are from Louisa May Alcott? No.
No, that's William Willis's raft, which rode the Pacific Current from Callao, Peru, for 6,000 miles to Samoa, bettering Kon-Tinky's record. All right, the Celestial Seven Sisters.
The Pleiades.
That's right, for 10 points. All right, coming up now, a 30-point bonus with a minute and a half to go. Score 165, Barnard 205, Syracuse. Here's your toss-up. It's a lovely night. The sky is studded with stars and planets. Some of them appear to be white, and some of them appear to be red. For 10 points, which are hotter? Barnard.
The white stars are hotter.
Barnard, you have a 30-point bonus. 30-point bonus. Poets, pontiffs, and fictional characters have often posed well-remembered questions. Now, for 10 points apiece, can you identify the people who asked the following questions? First of all, quote, if winter comes, can spring be far behind?
Shakespeare.
Oh, thank you. Barnard. That's Shelley, an ode to the west wind. All right. Now, who said, quote, what is truth? What is truth?
Keats.
No.
Luther?
No. Pontius Pilate, in his interview with Jesus in the Gospel according to St. John. All right, who said?
Oh, I'm sorry, Alan, that's it. Time is up for this evening. The final score in the College Quiz Bowl tonight is 175 points for Barnard, 205 points for Syracuse, the winner. To each member of the Barnard team, it's our pleasure to award an attractive and dependable Whitnauer wristwatch, a distinguished member of the Longines Whitnauer family of fine watches. Since 1866, makers of watches of the highest character. For fielding the winning team tonight, Syracuse University will receive a $500 gift from Good Housekeeping magazine to be administered by the college. And these varsity scholars from Syracuse will return next week to compete in the new All-American quiz game with the varsity scholars of Georgetown University in Washington, D.C. And here once again, your master of the quiz, Alan Ludden.
I want to congratulate Syracuse University, and I want to say thank you to those brilliant young ladies from Barnard College for doing such a wonderful job. Won't you be with us next week and every week for an exciting quiz game here in the College Quiz Bowl? Now, this is Alan Ludden saying goodbye, everybody.
Referees were Fred Collins of WRCA, New York City, for Barnard College, and Bob Whitney of station WSYR for Syracuse University. Listen to the transcribed College Quiz Bowl next week when Syracuse meets Georgetown University, and they come up against this question.
What is the line of verse that precedes, quote, I never hope to see one?
What do you think the answer is? Tune in next week. Hear the rebroadcast of the most exciting games in this famous series. College Quiz Bowl is a transcribed NBC Radio Network presentation, originated and produced by John Moses and Don Reed, written by Nancy Phobes and directed by Ken McGregor. This is Roger Tuttle speaking. The effective way to save is the automatic way for the regular purchase of United States savings bonds through the payroll savings plan at work or the bond-a-month plan at your bank. Why not plan to invest in the payroll savings plan either where you work or where you bank? It's a good investment.
That's your old-time radio fix for this week. I hope you enjoyed yourselves. Be sure to subscribe to The Chronic Rift on iTunes or visit us frequently at chronicrift.com.
What a voice. What a voice. Simply means ink. A dink-a-doo. A dink-a-dee. Good night, folks. Signing off.